you guys can tell.
That's good.
What's the difference? Before I sew.
So this is probably a half inch.
That's a quarter. Yeah, this is quarter finished. It's thicker because we fold it differently.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's all folded differently. So the French bias are mostly used on sheer fabric because it's easier to fold. And then the single bias it's hard to do the French bias on thick fabric because it's too much folding. It's easier to do on a light fabric, and it's a different style. And I'll show you guys how to do that.
Are we doing both?
Yes, we are doing both. So I'm going to prep the collar, and then we'll join it to the bodice later. So here's your mandarin collar. So what you're going to do is you're going to sew the center back, curve down to here. That's it. Do not sew your neckline. So you're going to sew at a quarter seam allowance. So when you pin them together, make sure you have your one left, one right, and then like they're kind of mirroring each other. The needle, I can hear it. Needle's that.
The needle's back?
I can hear it that it's hurting the fabric. You're like, you're telling me. You can hear it?
Why is it bad? It's dull?
It's dull, yeah. Somebody must like maybe hit a needle or something, and that's how I knew I can hear it. So you're gonna prep both sides.
And it's a
Quarter seam allowance, yes. Quarter seam allowance. So I always like to prep the collar before I do both. If it's two, I'm going to prep them before.
You sew directly in the interfacing?
Yeah. You can sew either side up.
Oh, okay.
This one is it doesn't matter which side you sew them.
Yeah.
And I always start both ends that have back stitch. So now once you do this, you do that, you just flip it over. That's why I remember you were saying that
Yeah.
you can. So on the corner, this is how I fold them. I bend. If you have a square corner, even like a pointy collar, I bend my seam and I put my one finger in here and one out. And that's how I get a really nice corner that way.
What did you just do?
I just turn it, I'll do the other one. So then, once I turn it, I push my seam really close to the edge. And I put pin here because I want to top stitch this. I'm going to do it again.
use top stitch 1/8 or 1/4?
I'm going to do a quarter. You could do 1/8, it's just depending on how you want. If you want to do 1/8, make sure you do both collar 1/8. You don't want to one side is a quarter and one side is 1/8. I didn't like. I want to make sure my corner is good. Sometimes if the corner, if I don't like it, make sure you push it out really well. Bless ya. Okay, to turn it again, see, this is the square corner. I fold both seam down and put my finger, my thumb inside, and then my second finger here. And then turn this over. That will give me a square corner. And then the rest, I just pretty much line up my seam so I can top stitch my collar. So really good to push your seam all the way to the edge. So collar, the one that you're gonna see is the one that have interfacing. So your interfacing is your top collar. It's gonna show outside. So when you top stitch, I always look for see where my pellon piece is? That's the part I'm gonna have it on the top when I top stitch them. So now we're gonna top stitch.
Is pellon interfacing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
We're gonna top stitch a quarter. And then you're gonna, before you get to a quarter, you're gonna put your needle down so you can turn it. And then do the same thing on the other side. Can somebody do me a favor and bring me the bodice on my table, please? Nope, I think I saw the other side. We have the bodice. And then you'll probably want to iron this. Thank you. So once you finish, you have your left and your right, right? So what you want to do is look for the side that have pellon. You're gonna do, that's gonna be your outside. So we're gonna turn this way.
What's the side that has pellon on it?
It's the top collar. The side that have pellon is the top collar. So we're gonna line up the curve area at your center front. There's a center front notch. Okay. And then there is a shoulder notch, okay, that your collar should have. We're gonna match that up. And then the end of your collar should be, you should have ½ an inch here. Okay. You should have ½ an inch there for this part. Because normally you have a zipper or something. So see how it's supposed to walk together? Makes sense.
Can I see the ½ an inch in there? Okay, so
And then you're gonna do the same thing on the other side. So you should have ½ an inch on the center back. So make sure you have your collar, the pellon side facing the body. So you're gonna pin it this way. So once we're done, when you turn it, it's up. Okay. So here's your center back on this side. There you should have a notch here. See how we have a notch for a reason? Every notch is telling the sewer
Just do a picture of it because I'm like dyslexic.
is this part
I am.
too?
That's
Everything I do, I
7%.
do it backwards.
Sorry, did you cut mine? So, and then that curved side, the other side, you're gonna same thing lined up at center front. Because when we sew, we're gonna sew it in one line. We're gonna join them together.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's why I'm pinning. You pin your, your right and left.
So we don't do it backwards.
Your mind will sleep.
So when you're done pinning, it should be. So now what you want to do is sew at a quarter to join your collar to the bodice. This is driving me crazy. It won't get out my way.
You're not gonna change your needle yet?
Yeah, I'm gonna change it. I'm gonna change it on my next demo because I don't want you guys to wait for me to change it.
Where do you start? Do you start right on that, or do you start before?
I start right where the collar is.
Okay.
Okay.
Quarter seam allowance. And then on the bottom, it's really good to make sure your seam on your bodice is open. And then make sure your the collar, they're meeting right at the center front.
So they're all the same.
Yeah, they're hitting right at the center front. And you should have a notch at the center front of the bodice.
Why? Oh yeah. Okay, we talked about that.
So it's pretty much one straight all across to the other side.
So it's not good. You said it's
So
not
it's
good.
one straight across from the other side. And then for them to sit up, what you're gonna do is you're gonna do a little clipping on the neck. They're about half an inch apart. So it let the neckline. It can, yeah. Well, anytime when it's round, you need to do the clipping, and the clipping is called. They call it grading.
That line back from the shaft. All up in there.
I would do it like halfway, but not too big, because you don't want to hit. Make sure you don't hit the seam. So once it's done, it should look like Mandarin collar.
Woo! That looks
It's
cool.
just so hot. This is a Mandarin collar.
Wait, does that fit anyone?
Doesn't fit.
It fits me. Yeah.
Cool.
So it's supposed to be like that.
Are you the best? I prefer.
Mandarin. You can do a Mandarin dress.
Does this fit a child?
No, it should be a woman's size.
Oh, okay.
Okay? Everybody.
That looks really cool. I like that.
Fancy thing.
See how, like now you guys do more like a complete, you know how we do it. We do the front, back, dart, sleeve, and when it's done, I mean this is not very complete, but it's semi-complete.
We did like.
Cool.
Where did that come from? It's like what bars are there?
So now it makes more sense when you sew them up, you know what I mean? Okay.